Since 2008, the government administration building has been stagnant. Why is it previous governments couldn't do what is happening today? Completion.
I think it's where you set your priorities and where there is a will, and I think you also need to have the creative minds to get things done.
So they didn't look at it as a priority, as you say.
I don't think so.
You believe so?
I don't think so. We made it a priority for more than one reason. We thought you are wasting money, because if you have a building that you're not using, you think that if you build a building and leave it parked up for 8 years, that it would be a pristine building when you decide to move in. Or it's just like a brand new car. You'd buy a brand new car, park it up in the yard, and only find out that while you have never driven the car, 5 years later,
it has lost its value.
It is a wreck.
Yeah.
And when I mean a wreck in terms of it stays there with the heat and everything else, the car needs to open up just like a house. If you close a house and go on a vacation for 3 months, you come back, it's smelling moldy,
Yes.
you see dust, you see things, and you wonder how all that dirt got under a carpet, for instance. So,
Right.
you know, with the government building, it was not a priority, I think, but we made it a priority. And we have decided it is something that needs to happen, because government cannot continue renting over $1 million a month, okay? Spending over $1 million guilders a month in rent, in offices and buildings all over the place, and having a building that can house over 600 government employees sitting there unfinished. So we have decided we will make it a priority, this government. We have done so. And I know at, the signing of the first contracts, I had jokingly said at the time that July 1st, Emancipation Day, the Prime Minister will pack his furniture, and I have to put it in the back of my Honda Pilot, it will do so. Well, of course, July 1st and August 1st have come and gone, and September 1st is around the corner. But the government will move in September. The process to move in will take probably a few months, because it is over 600 employees that we would have to move into the building. But the top floor will be occupied in the course of September. We are moving the government administration building. All of the people who are there will move to the government building. We're also moving part of the Ministry of General Affairs, Personnel and Facility Management will also be moving. They are the first to move, and then the process will continue after September, October, November, probably into December.
You mentioned 1 million guilders in rent.
Over $1 million guilders.
Over 1 million guilders
per month.
Where that money can be channeled to once you move into the administration building?
Once we move into the administration building, we will be paying, of course, because we have sold the building to SFV as part of, if you want to call it, a creative financing scheme to settle our debt with SFV and APS. So you sell it, you reduce your debt. At the same time, they finance the completion of the building. You see now a beautiful wall is being built,
Yes.
the parking is being built, partitions are going inside, tiling of the walkway, tiling of part of the front has been redone. So there's a lot of work that has been done in the couple of months and is still being done. So we will be renting the building now from SZV for something like 600,000 guilders a month, and we will continue to rent some buildings on the outside. But eventually it will become your building, your own again, okay? But we will drastically reduce, and the savings, we are not saying that the savings will go directly here, there, or anywhere. But right now, we have, I'm proud to say that through the hard work of Minister Gibson, we will on Tuesday be approving the draft budget for 2017 before the 1st of September, which is a requirement by law. Will be the first time a government since 2010 will be handing in a balanced budget before the stipulated time. Don't forget that the UP-led government, when they left office in 2015, had no budget of 2015. It was in September and they didn't have a balanced budget for 2015. Neither did they present a balanced budget for 2016. We presented one within 3 months, and now within a couple of months, we will be presenting a balanced budget for 2017 with all the requirements that need to go with a budget. To get it balanced, of course, you have to follow the saying, you can't spend what you don't have.
Right.
And if the cake is this big, it can only cut in
How many
X
pieces?
amount of slices and pieces. So I know, for instance, public health and education, they have been complaining about, yes, but we need to, and we're going to need more money, and if we have to carry out education programs, we have to upgrade education, and if we have to implement the care center. Now, with spending less in rent and operating government more efficiently, we will now be able to channel some more money towards education, for
Right.
instance, and public health, and wherever else
Maybe sports also.
government would need funding. Don't forget the St. Martin Development Fund used to be funded before by, these programs and projects used to be funded through Dutch aid,
Agencies.
but now it is all done through the government of St. Martin. Contrary to what people think that we are getting development aid from Holland, we are getting none. We are financing our budget ourselves, and out of our budget, all the after-school activities, after-school programs that are being carried out and funded through the St. Martin Development Fund, all of it is funded by government itself.
Mr. Marlin, if given the mandate by the electorate of 10 seats, even 8 seats, what plans would you have for the next 4 governing years or term?
We can spend the rest of the night talking here. Within the next couple of days,
Well, maybe you can tell us like 4 different.
The National Alliance will present its manifesto for 2016-2020. Our focus right now is on winning this election. Winning this election requires us going house to house, door to door, using every means of communication. You know very well that our Congress was streamed live. When we presented our candidates, it was streamed live. We have this program, that is on YouTube, that is on Facebook. Our candidates are presenting themselves out there because we need to secure a win and to bring stability in governance to St. Martin. We cannot have another term, 4-year term cut in half, and we can't have a 4-year term like 2010, 2014, when you had a change of government ever so often because of people moving from one party to another, not from one party to another, but leaving their party in order to support another government. That is how we got in government now as well. And that is how we were kept out of government in 2010. That is how we were kept out of government in 2014. And we are saying to the public, you have seen the different political parties over the past years. You have seen where stability is. You have seen where strong leadership is. You have seen where leadership is that will lead when given the mandate and the opportunity to lead. William Marlin will not go on his knees and tell people, I will be your next president, prime minister rather, and when the time comes, then say, I ain't going to screen because the Dutch trying to lock me up. The Dutch ain't trying to lock up William Marlin. William Marlin has nothing to hide. And yes, William Marlin is prepared to be the prime minister again after the 2016 election when the electorate give us a mandate, because we need at least 4 years of stability, of stable government to be able to fix our tax structure, to be able to fix education, to be able to fix public health, to be able to fix our SZV, our schools, our roads, our sports facilities to be able to implement solar energy, to be able to realize that waste to energy plant, to be able to do the things that people have been so longing for and waiting on. I have spoken, for instance, about the construction of a tunnel, and it is still part of what we believe is a solution to some of the traffic congestion that we have. The comprehensive road network plan that has been on the books for some years now, and the only road that was carried out from that some 11 road links was Link 1. Again, that was done by William Marlin when I was in government. And it took guts to do that too. Because for the first time ever, property was expropriated on St. Martin, and I think it was even then part of the Netherlands Antilles. We expropriated property. We went to court and fought off the property owner who was giving us a resistance. We have designed several housing projects and programs so that people can own their own home, so that people can get 100% financing to purchase their home. And all of this had come to a halt. And we are saying, no, you put a National Alliance government in place for 4 years where we can have a stable government and focus on the needs of our people. Right now, Joanne, I'm working with a Chinese group, and they are hell-bent, well, I'm saying hell-bent, they are pushing to accomplish, along with government, what they have set out to, which would be to do the groundbreaking of their project, to show the commitment to St. Martin and to this government that they're willing to invest hundreds of millions in a project that will kick off the China Caribbean hub on St. Martin. It will be the construction of a 216 room hotel. Part of the complex would also embody 400 one-bedroom apartments. And on top of that, we'd have conference center, business center, meeting rooms, a casino, restaurants, a parking garage for 800 cars. This will create not only work for those who are working in the construction of the project, but once the project is completed, we will see a whole new set of tourists coming to St. Martin, a whole new set of people, a market that we never had before will now open with sort of direct flights from China coming to St. Martin to distribute from St. Martin to the rest of the Caribbean, with Chinese business people coming to St. Martin at the business center here to promote their products and to do business with the rest of the Caribbean as well. This is a project that the entire government is embracing. I spoke to the Minister of Romi earlier this week, and he announced that yes, the building permit, the plans are now completed and are in. They have assigned a special team to work on this so that we can push to get the approval of this very much needed project off the ground as soon as possible.
Mr. Marlin, some people refer to your government as the miracle government. You know that? Are you aware of that?
Well,
because they said what you all have accomplished in the 7 months that you've been there, a lot of other governments couldn't even take 4 years or even 2 terms to do it. So they consider you all as the miracle government.
No, we have a great team. And I must commend Minister Gibson for pushing to balance the budget. And in the beginning, in the first month or two, he had really had a bad name, so to speak, in governmental circles and the different departments and the different ministries. He became known as Mr. No.
Yes.
It was like a father who didn't allow the child to buy a sweet, to buy an ice cream, to buy a cookie, to do anything. You had to stick to the basic necessities, because if you want to balance your budget and keep it balanced, you can't spend what you don't have. But by balancing the budget, we were now able to access the market to borrow money or to use the capital budget to now carry out some of the funds. Front Street was in a deplorable mess for years. We hear complaints from tourists every day. But was it the government's priority? No, it was not. No, it was not. Their priority was to peddle off the Emilia Wilson estate to the Rainforest Group, peddle it off to them, and neglect Front Street. So the same tourists that you're trying to get over there, rather than fixing one of the areas that they all basically pass through when they're in St. Martin, you build the Walter Plans Plaza, but to get there, if you want to walk on Front Street, it is in a horrendous condition. Now we have fixed it quickly in order to facilitate Carnival. 3 weeks ago, we signed off on the start for the upgrade of Back Street. If I'm not mistaken, the groundbreaking for that project will be on Wednesday.
Great news.
Yes, part of it is that bricks, different bricks to what is there now would be ordered as part of the upgrade of it. We will make it also, both Front Street and Back Street would be user-friendly for persons. You see people come off cruise ships with wheelchairs, and it's always a dilemma for them navigating through Front and Back Street. All of that will be done now for the ease of the local people and the visitors, but we also will lay repair sewage lines where some of them have been damaged, put certain cabling on the ground as well. So it's not just picking up bricks and putting down bricks. What a contractor may do is begin by moving like some of those sinkholes that I have on Back Street. It is the worst street in the entire Caribbean. There's no way you can drive, on a road and feel like you're on not even a roller coaster. A roller coaster is for those who like it, it's a friendly thrill, but this is really agonizing. So we may have the contractor, doing a quick repair of some of those sinkholes, because it will take quite some months before the entire project is completed in its entirety.
Well, Mr. Marlin, I'm getting the signal that we are running out of time, and I still have a whole lot of questions to ask. But before we wrap up, though, I want to know, what are some of the things you're hearing when you talk to people out there in terms of campaigning? Because we know for a fact a lot of people are saying, I'm not voting because of what has happened in the past, and also what happened when you all were trying to put together this government. What do you say to the people who are saying, I'm not voting? And why is it you think that they're really not voting? Is it because of the process? Or is it because of the party that they probably supported, they are not happy with, and they just believe that they shouldn't be voting?
It's a combination of things. One, people are disillusioned with the performance of politicians. They vote for someone, and when you're looking for him or her, they're gone.
All right.
A government is finally put in place, and before you can get used to who in government, they are gone. People make promises and break those promises. So the public is saying, I'm tired of it. That's one. You also, well, it's a combination of all of those things where people are saying, what are we voting for?
Yeah.
Because you all are going to win the election, and then they're going to still try to keep you out, or people are going to jump ship. Now, what is interesting is the UP Prime Minister, Theo Heiliger, and the leader of the UP party, the UP Prime Minister, Marcel Gomes, and the UP leader, Theo Heiliger, they were all for dissolving parliament, call fresh elections, because you got to punish the ship jumpers. But the first two ship jumpers in 2014, Cornelius de Weaver and Leona Marlin, are prominently on their list. They're number 5 and number 6 candidate. So it's either they're making a fool out of those candidates by telling them, well, come on the list. so we can publicly punish you and chastise you, or they're taking the public for a ride, telling the public, no, we dissolve parliament, we call for snap elections so that you can get an opportunity to punish the ship jumpers, but we're putting these on our list because we happy that they jumped ship back then. And that is why we are telling voters when we meet those who are saying, yeah, I don't want to vote, or, you know, I got a cousin on a party, I got a brother on a party, I got a friend on a neighbor, we're saying, yes, focus on giving a party, a credible party, a party with strong leadership, a party with leadership that won't run, that won't hide, that won't deceive you. It is what you see is what you will get. Our ministers will come off the list of the National Alliance, and they will pass the screening, and there's no Dutch trying to lock them up. And you know, it is a difficult task sometimes. I'm happy when I'm walking. I was at the airport, I was at the supermarket, I was in town the other day, and people who I actually don't know, haven't met before, would hail out at me, William Marlin. And I'm like, hey, what's happening? I'm voting for you this time. And I'm happy and I thank them. A few nights ago, I met a young lady by Jimmy. I'm getting in my car, and the lady said, Mr. William Marlin. And I said good night to her, how are you? She said, I'm voting for you this year. I'm supporting you. And I met a lady from Colombia, who has Dutch nationality, was married to a Dutch national who's now deceased. And there too, she struck up the conversation and told me, I want to meet with you next week because I want to support you. I want to campaign for you. And we exchanged numbers, and I got her name and her number. And she says, I want to be part of ensuring that you remain the Prime Minister of this country, and I think you guys are doing a great job and you deserve to be back. And I'm confident that we will, gain the support of the people again. In 2010, we were just 128 votes, I believe, short of winning 8 seats outright. And that is why the campaign that we are taking to the streets now is to tell the people, give us 10 seats.
Right.
Shoot for the skies, land on the moon, land on a cloud or two. And yes, if we get 10, we'll be extremely grateful and happy. And St. Martin can rest assured that the next 4 years will be in good and solid hands. If we get 9, we're equally happy. If we get 8, we are very much satisfied. But if it is 7 that they want to give us to force us into a coalition with another party, we are saying that's the will of the people. We respect it and we will carry it out as well. But we are prepared. We have a team. We have a team of new candidates as well. So we have a blend of experienced, very experienced, capable candidates, young, qualified, dynamic candidates who are ready to take up their responsibility in Parliament, and if need be, also part of the Council of Ministers.
Well, Mr. Marlin, you said a mouthful, and I really want to thank you for coming to the studios. We've come to the end of another edition of In the Hot Seat, so I want to congratulate you and wish you all the best to you and your party, and hope that you would be very successful come September 26th in the elections.
Thank you, Joanne. There's so many topics still to cover.
I still have a whole lot of questions to ask, but time.
I don't get the opportunity, I think, every time, to get to speak.
Yes.
And my wife, my daughter would always, Daddy, get to it. Stop it. So
school teacher mentality.
But there's so much to say, and I look forward on, being back here at least once or twice. And I want to, tell the public, expect candidates of the National Alliance to be calling you, to be knocking at your door, to invite you to our public meetings, but more importantly, to sit and listen to them. And don't be fooled by what others are telling you. There's only one party in this race to really consider, to put your trust, your confidence in, and ultimately vote for, and that is the National Alliance.
Well, people, you had it number one on the National Alliance slate, the leader of the National Alliance, and also the Prime Minister of St. Martin, Mr. William Marlin. You've been looking at In the Hot Seat with yours truly, Joanne Lewis. Tune in again next time for another edition of In the Hot Seat. Until then, bye.